Welcome, everyone, to tonight's conversation. We are so excited to be with you all this evening. It's been such a long time, but we're back. And tonight we are honoring and we're celebrating Black Pride. Tonight is a conversation on Black joy and Black rest. And I am so excited because I have some of the baddest, brightest, and most brilliant Black women with me this evening. We have my co-host Barika Edwards. Hey, Barika.
Hello. Thank you for having me as your guest host today.
I'm so excited to have you, Malika, my sister. She's in with us tonight. Hi, Malika.
Hey girl, hey.
And the one and only Dr. Claire. Dr. Claire is not a stranger to this platform. She's been with us many times. Dr. Claire, it's an honor to have you again with us tonight.
It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you. So, we are going to get into some really interesting conversations tonight. We want you to do us a favor and share this message, whatever platform you're watching on, whether you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook. Go ahead and share it out to a coworker, to a friend, to a sister, to a brother, to your mama. Share it out because we believe that tonight is going to really uplift you. We are talking about Black rest and Black joy. In honor of Black History Month, we got about one more day left to celebrate, right? But tonight, we want this to be all about you. Tonight is about returning to a place of humanity. It's about recognizing not just the pain and the wounds that have become synonymous with our identity, but the wonder, the genius, and the love. So we want you to reimagine what it feels like tonight to laugh. We want you to reimagine what it feels like to dream, to rest, to be your most authentic self. And tonight we want to rise above the narrative that we are only associated with grief, pain, and loss as Black people. But our narrative is much more than that. So tonight we transcend into a narrative that honors our humanity, honors our rest and our joy. It's all about you, uplifting you, honoring you, your body. Welcome everyone to Black Joy and Black Rest. Make sure you comment below and engage with us. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking. We want your feedback. So please make sure you tune in and tell us what you're thinking. If something resonates with you, if there is a nugget you want to just put into the comment section, we will be reading it. And yes, we'll be commenting back. So without further ado, I am going to invite my incredible co-host Marika to the stage. She's going to ground us for just a moment, and then we're going to get started.
So I want you all to just close your eyes for just a few seconds. It's been a crazy, hectic week. Some of us have been digging ourselves out of snow. Some of us have been enjoying the sun. But no matter where you are, I just want you to just close your eyes and take a really deep breath. And then over the next hour, just let yourself be free to not have to do those other things that are on your mind to do. Just allow yourself to take this time to rest and to enjoy the show. Don't do anything else. Just lay back, close your eyes and listen and comment when you're ready to say something. And just, take the moment to give yourself this gift of the hour of time we have with you.
Awesome. And now we would love we're going to ask Malika for you to introduce yourself, and then we'll then ask Dr. Claire and introduce yourself. What do you want the audience to know about you this evening? So starting with Malika and then Dr. Claire.
Well, one, thank you so much for having me this evening. I am really honored to be part of this conversation. My name is Malika Agukwe. I am a dancer, a writer, an artist, and creative in many different forms. And that is primarily what brings me to the conversation here today. I have moved through corporate, nonprofit, all types of different career spaces in a really short amount of time in the beginning of my career. And through all of it, I have dropped into practices around well-being and wellness, and really tapping into the power of connecting to joy and happiness. And it's been a mission of mine over the last several years to create spaces, trainings, workshops, and events to bring people into this magic. So very excited to be part of the conversation here today.
Thanks, Malika.
Hi, thank you so much. And always a joy to be with you. And I'm always down for a Black girl conversation. So I am Dr. Claire Greenford. I always say I'm an unapologetic humanist and intersectional mental health practitioner. I also am known as the culture and well-being architect, and my work sits at the intersection of leadership, equity, and organizational wellness. I am an immigrant, a lover of all things warm, so I am not happy about this snow. I had a few conversations with God. I said, if the first snow didn't clear, we can't have another set. But I'm here because, like many of you, I've navigated the world, living in my skin and living as who I am. And I think joy is the ultimate form of resistance. And so for me, I am really happy to be here because I want to talk about joy and the intersection of our mental health and the culture that we have, that we bring in ourselves and with our communities. So that's it.
Welcome, Dr. Claire. Welcome, Malika.
It's just incredible. And we're, like Dr. Claire said, we're going to have a conversation tonight. And, you know, it's just, you guys are really just tuning in and listening to our girl talk. So feel free again to let us know what you're thinking and give us feedback. But Dr. Claire, you really sort of jumped into by talking about joy as an ultimate form of resistance. And Dr. Goldie Muhammad, who's fabulous in her work Unearthing Joy, she talks about joy being a feeling that is essentially when justice is achieved. It's a sense of belonging, is a sense of safety, and is a sense of peace. Want you both, starting with Dr. Claire, to share with us, what does joy feel like? What is that like?
So I think it's multiple things. There's not a one thing for joy. What is joy for me is not joy for you, but it doesn't mean that we're not both in this state of bliss, whatever that is. I think sometimes we're looking for the mountaintop experience, and sometimes joy is just knowing that I got to sleep in. There's nothing on my plate to do. I can just chill. I don't have anything planned, and I can say no. For me, I identify as Christian, so joy is a fruit of the Spirit and something that I'm actively pursuing. And I want to, I find a lot of my joy in that space. The reason I think joy is resistant is because we live in a world that is so toxic. I mean, we don't need to turn on the news. It's the same thing for centuries. And we continue, particularly as Black diaspora, continue to navigate things that are dehumanizing. So for me, joy is a space where we get to collectively share in our excellence, our grace, our creativity, our brilliance, our hope, our dreams, and our God-given right to just chill out.
Love that.
So it looks different, but I think for me, especially in this season of my life where there's been so much going on for a very long time, joy is truly a space of how do I get back to center? How do I get back to God? And how do I do the things that fill me unapologetically?
So good. Oh my goodness. That's really good. Getting back to the center, Malika.
And that filling of the cup, right? Like knowing that there's overflow. I think that's what joy feels like to me. It's generative, it's expansive. It stretches and stretches to a point of comfort that you feel safe to take up that space. And that can, as Dr. Claire mentioned, my joy may look different from your joy, but that generative quality, I believe, is at the root of what joy and what Black joy is.
That's so good.
You mentioned that joy is within the acknowledgement that there's so many things that don't want you to feel joy, and so many things that want to divert our attention to the things that are not joyful in the world. And sometimes it wants to try to consume our everyday 24/7. So tell me about a time where you were able to rise above that and to find that pure joy moments, beyond work and beyond titles and responsibilities.
Mhm. I can get us started. Hearing that question, thinking about a time where I felt joy in my life brings me back to December 2023. I was living in Nairobi, Kenya at this time, before I came for my master's. And it was the holiday break, and I went to the coast. It was my first time experiencing the Indian Ocean.
Mm.
And
Beautiful.
there was a quality about that water that was
Mm.
unlike any other ocean that I'd been in before. I felt so held. I felt so comforted by the water in a
Mm.
way that I just felt extreme bliss. I said, wow, like this
Mm.
is God's creation, like, and I get to
Mm.
experience it, little old me.
Mm.
And I hold on to that when the snow piles up out here in Boston. I think about those moments.
Ooh, that's so good.
Mhm.
How about you, Dr. Claire?
Listen, I'm with you with the ocean. I am West Indian. I'm from Barbados. The beach is literally a 5-minute straight walk from my house. So
Wow.
just cross the street. And so that has always been my place of joy. It's where I find rest. It's where I find God. But I will say that a point of joy through a lot of the challenges I've been navigating is this week. I
Mm.
lost a really close friend 2 years ago,
Mhm.
January, to breast cancer.
Mm.
And I love soca. I am a carnival. I always tell people, I don't know why you keep saying Black women are angry. I live between gospel and soca. You cannot be angry if that's where you live. But and Afro beats, you just can't. It's just not possible. But I didn't realize I was living in a space of not joy for over the 2 years because it reminded me of her. It's how I met her at a party. But
Mm.
this week, and I told my therapist Tuesday, I said, I listened to soca for 35 minutes straight and I wasn't sad.
Mm.
That's when I was in a space of like just this happiness and this joy. It's not happiness, it's just this joy, that this thing that I loved that reminded me of pain. I
Mm.
then dealt with it and the level of release. And I spoke to my friend openly, out, I'm like, I'm playing this for us, but just to be in a space where I could go back to the rhythm and move and just, I'm like, oh, I don't know any of the soca songs for this year. Now I know all of them. Road March Ready. But for me, that's a space of joy. And how do I'm looking for that every day so that I don't have to grab from before, but I'm like, I cultivated this for myself today. I want to laugh more than I cry each day. If that's watching something silly, if that's listening to my 5-year-old nephew pontificate about the fact that he knows more about the world than we do, which he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Whatever that is, if it's reaching out to a girlfriend and sending a funny meme, whatever that is, I want to cultivate that because I refuse, and I mean refuse. I am, like Audre Lorde said, this is an act of political warfare.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's where I am at this space.
Mhm.
That's so powerful. And what really stands out to me in what both of you said is it's almost like you feel joy in your body, right? Like the first thing when I teach about to many of my supervisors and social workers about burnout, the first place you feel it is your body.
Mhm.
You feel it in your chest, you feel it in your head, you feel it in your shoulders, your back is hurting, right? But when we experience joy, we feel it in our bodies. So I
Mhm.
love what you said. It's like almost coming back to the center of who you are, the center of connecting with your own self. And for so many of us, we walk around in life so disconnected from our own self, from who we are. So joy is returning to you,
Mhm.
the real you,
Mhm.
the most authentic you. It's just so beautiful. I love it. So,
Teresa, oh, yeah.
oh, go ahead. Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead, Drew.
Teresa Hershey, she's the founder of the NAP Ministry, and she's an author in the New York Times bestseller, Rest is Resilience, a Manifesto of 2022. I believe she had a few years ago at the MoMA an exhibit where she invited Black women to go rest. And her core thesis was rest is the simplest form, becomes an act of resistance and reclaiming of power because it asserts our most basic humanity. Our worth does not reside in how much we produce. And that is so real because since the dawning of our time on this continent, we have not been allowed to rest as Black women. We've been working, even if we're going to labor another human being in life, we were working, we had to pick up the baby and keep on working, picking cotton or picking tobacco. So rest really, truly is resistance. And it's not just resistance, it's also spiritual. Because when you're able to rest, you're able to hear deeper. So like you were both saying, like it's physical, you feel that physical joy, and then it goes to your mind and your mind is able to shift. The same thing with rest too. We might feel it physically once we were able to rest, but then our mind is able to open up too. So what about you? What do you think about entering this state of rest? What is it for you? How is it not just physical? Start with, go ahead, Malika. Let's start with you. He's ready to dig in.
I love Trisha Hersey. Fun fact, I had the chance to meet her at a conference last year, and I was just like blown away by the meditation that she guided for us. I said, oh no, you are a very serious lady about your rest.
Oh, that's good.
And I love how she encourages us, or what I receive from her writings and her message is, how can I be useless to capitalism? Like that is like the frame that I use when I'm thinking about
That's good. I'm writing that down.
How can I be so useless to capitalism? And it's been a fun exploration, whether it's been my community gatherings, hosting events, or having people over for a potluck. Or I am dancing just for the sake of dancing because it feels good, and tapping into pleasure, because we all know capitalism does not want us to feel good in our bodies. So doing that on purpose feels, very antithetical to what the system wants from me. Dropping into the body just brings so much wisdom that we have been conditioned out of. I know the pandemic, the lockdown period of 2020 you were on either end of the spectrum. Either I want out, or actually this is a moment of rest and solitude that actually is generative for me. I was on that end where I had, I had experienced some personal loss. So Dr. Clay, I really appreciate you bringing in perhaps someone you may now call one of your ancestors into the space. In 2020, I was transitioning into the role of guardian to my youngest sister, as both of our parents had transitioned and became ancestors. And so rest has taken on a very different meaning for me as I was coming out into the world, a fresh graduate, thinking about what to do with my life and how to support, my younger sisters. Rest was non-negotiable. Because I needed to have enough juice in the bag for me to show up to a meeting with my sister and her therapist, or show up to a family friend's house who was supporting me and my sister with rides and transportation. It was non-negotiable for me to keep powering on in the ways that capitalism expected of me. I should also add context. I was in management consulting at this time. So like the epitome of a capitalist type role. And being honest with myself, first and foremost. What do I need so that I can wake up again tomorrow and I can make it to my bed this evening? Yeah.
Wow.
I have to sit with that because,
Me too.
The pandemic there are so many different experiences during the pandemic, because there was extreme loss during the pandemic too, but there was also the shift of resistance for a lot of people, resistance to not wanting to do business the same way. And also like the planet was also being able to rest and reset a bit. Like people were seeing like whales again and animals were able to finally like be free to take a breath. So it's like almost the earth and the trees were able to take a breath. So I kind of know that rest is so important that we've been kind of fighting against it for so long that once like, the world is able to break and have a rest, that it's able to like it's really generative very quickly. So if you're able to just start to bring in practices of rest, you will start to see the generative and regenerative nature of that very quickly.
Exactly.
That's so good. Dr. Claire?
I mean, I think what you said was so beautiful and powerful. And I, truly sorry for, your loss and the transition, because even if we accept it, it's still painful and it changes you. I think something that was just said, the reference to the animals, they were able to take up space. And to me, that's what this is about, taking up space. When I think about what rest really is, I believe it's giving ourselves permission to not need permission. So, because for me, being socialized as a woman, as a Black presenting woman, when I think about the foundation of toil, of power, of energy that foundational Black Americans gave, the only thing I could do is say, you died so I could rest. So how dare I? I got to come here because of those efforts. I will always give honor to the people that literally built this country. And because they built this country and they didn't have the choice to be in this country and didn't have people took agency over their bodies and will and souls without their permission. I am releasing the need for permission to be me. And I think that's where we start to find joy. We think of physically resting, right? You're sleeping, but many of us are sleeping and then you're waking up, oh, I have to do this thing. Many people reach for their phone the first thing, even if it's your Bible app. No, reach it for the actual Bible, put it down. Whatever those things are, because we're plugging in to the world and plugging out from ourselves. And so when I think about what it is, even mentally, releasing the pressure to perform, to fix, to step in, to be big sister, to be big, like all of the things that we are told we have to carry, and with a smile, because God knows if we're not smiling, we're angry.
Oh, Lord.
I'm just like, be more creative. There's so many more adjectives in the world. Can you come up with an adjective, please? But for me, my spiritual practice as well, when I think of rest, that's what I think of, right? The returning to the truth that I am held by God. I'm held by community. I'm held by my friends. I'm held by my twin sister. I'm held by my sister circle. I'm held, saying I'm not okay and a friend showing up. I'm held. And so this is a return to resting, allowing myself and being in community with people that will hold me, because we were not designed to function, to thrive, to exist in isolation. But we have, especially in an individualistic society as compared to, Eastern cultures, this is so individualistic that we have forgotten the basic need of our humanity to be in community. And so this rest, this joy is being in spaces and reminding myself that with my boundaries, one breath, with my honesty, I get to choose what I am producing. And if I am not producing for me, I cannot produce for anybody else. And the production for me is rest, because that's the state, that's the highest state that we get to innovate, to think, to grow, to expand, and to take up the space. And so I think this space is recognizing, as I continue to journey through it, where am I spiritual, where am I physical, where am I emotional, so that I can evolve. Because rest to me is not only about resistance, but is about evolution.
Ooh, that's so good, Dr. Claire. Mic drop. It's just, It's evolution. And you said something like it's the highest state
Yeah.
that we should strive to. So it's not, rest is not something we do. It's a state that we are in. It's a state of being.
Mhm.
It's almost a dimension. And I want to say two things that I want to dismantle these two sayings within our African diaspora, namely the Black community, which is there is no rest for the weary,
Mm.
and I got to do what I got to do. No, you don't. So we say this, and ooh, it's just, I've been feeling this lately over the last few months where I've been noticing that within the realm of human services and social work, namely, there's almost like this oath that they want us to take to being a martyr, to
Mm.
not having rest, to being overworked, and to being in a place of frenzy and chaos. And I reject that.
Mm.
There was a intern of mine, God rest his soul, Quincy Wise, who just recently passed away,
Mm.
and he was an intern with iRaise for several years, and he went on to go into another role. And the day after he left his job to go back to school, he ended up transitioning.
Mm.
And I said, how do we? This is, and I'm seeing this theme of people either dropping dead on a job. These are Black people just down the block from where I am now. A Black secretary at Mapleton Elementary School died right on the job, worked to death.
Mm.
I've been feeling so convicted. We gotta stop working ourselves. We have to enter it. It's almost like our life depends on it. We
Mm.
have. So my question is, gone a little off the rail. How? What are the things? What are the things, right, that keep us from entering into a state of rest? And I'll start with you, Malika, and then Dr. Claire.
Oh, so many things that keep us from dropping into that state.
Mm.
I would first start with the stories that we tell ourselves and the beliefs that we've internalized about what rest is. I remember as a child, I would be home. I would, be playing with my sisters, and the second that I heard my dad's car pull up, I would run to somewhere else in the house to pretend that I looked like I was doing something productive.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And I've internalized that and have been working as an adult to release the belief that rest has to be earned or that I have
Mhm.
to perform. And so I think a huge part for our community in dropping into that restful state is our mindset and the stories we tell ourselves around rest. It's not something that you have to earn. It's not something that is, bestowed upon you. It is
Mm.
it is your birthright, and it is part of the work. I know many of us who are, working towards social justice in our community.
Mm.
I am not the one if I am who will do it. But if you burn out along the way, then who will?
Mm.
And so changing the way we talk about rest and the way we understand its function in society, and remembering that we are of nature. We look outside, wherever you are. For some of us, it's snow, but nature has these cycles, and it knows when to expand, it knows when to contract and to move into restoration. But we as humans are not following that same cycle, at least here in the West. So reframing our understanding of what it means to rest, remembering that we are of nature, we are of the natural world, and nature has to operate in cycles of vitality and
Mm.
restoration. I think that will be the first entry point for us to dropping into a rest practice.
So good.
I just want a tambourine, and I never even went to one of those churches.
I got you.
Just saying. I'm like, we need to talk after this. You're awesome. But I really believe that one of the things when we think about how we even get into this space. And you've mentioned, and we've talked about it, right? Like this story that our value is connected to our productivity.
Mhm.
We've been told that for centuries. The do more, the work more. You're going to have to work 5 times as hard to get half as play. The things that people say from the time we're young, well-meaning, to prepare us for a system that doesn't acknowledge our humanity, right? Like there's that piece, because that's not historical, that's present.
Mhm.
But we're also in the space where then we internalize and believe those things because the people around us, the well-meaning, our family, our parents, our siblings, our friends are saying the same thing too. And then there comes a piece where we are afraid of being judged. We're not enough. We're afraid of letting people down because as as communal beings, we want to be accepted and we need to be accepted. And we've been pushed down and resist and rejected for a very long time. So I think that the things that stop us are not only fear, but the messaging we get and the disconnection that we have from the sense of who we are and who we want to be and who we can be. But I would say that this idea of we can never slip up, because many of us, let's be real, if we've seen the things on the media from as long as I was younger, unconsciously, I was, oh, I hope this is not a Black person that did this, because the way we don't get to be individuals. And I'm one of a twin. And so I can tell you that it's annoying because growing up, it's like, oh, you and you're like, no, if I punch you, will she feel it? If I punch you, you think you'll feel it. You'll feel it. But, it's sometimes it's time, it's fair. But I think that the narrative that we've only had value when we are enduring, and that suffering is our story, and that we are just trying to survive. That is the piece, is that we literally only matter if we are enduring pain. We don't have to go far. There's so many recent things that have happened in the media, from the British awards to all the things where it's in the face of dehumanization, we still expect you to just take it and endure with a smile. And we have been told that. And I would go a little further and say, particularly as Black women and women of the diaspora, and women identified individuals of the diaspora, we have taken on the burden of all the roles in families. Culturally, we're told to keep performing in families. We're training our little girls to cook and to clean and do all these things from young, while we let our little boys just hang out. We do that. And then they grow and we go, they're not a suitable partners. We never expected anything of them, but we expected more of our girls and our women. That also breaks us, because the mind, the body, the soul is breaking under the burden of that pressure. And what happens when you are this drip? Eventually that becomes a flood. And we have to stop the flood, because to the point you've made, we are literally dying. I ended up on multiple medical leaves. Literally, my doctor said, you're on the path of dying. There's no reason for these things. I had no choice but to pause and to shift, because it literally was death for me. That's why for me, I've said this work of rest and joy, and I'm still figuring out, it's a journey. Our bodies regenerate, our cells regenerate every day, right? Our intestines, our skin, every few days, our cells are turning over. We have to turn over too.
From fellow classmates testing twin magic to be able to take to reject those paradigms that you have to earn rest when it's been God given and God gifted to us. From code switching, constant code switching, I am pretty sure you've seen your clients show a lot of the ways that they either excuse not resting or that are just trying to figure out how to rest. What are some things that you've talked to your clients about when it comes to rest, and what are you finding they're kind of using as the excuses that we might recognize within ourselves? Let's start with Malika.
Oh, repeat that question for me one more time.
When you work with clients who are fatigued, they've emotionally fatigued from the day from a day of code switching to,
Mhm.
working and grinding and, living that big girl boss life. What are the things that you're finding that they're saying that we might recognize, the audience and ourselves might recognize in ourselves that we're doing, and how are you helping them to, shift
Of course. Thank
into joy?
you. I think we mentioned earlier during our time together around the permission piece. I don't have, if I don't take on this project, if I don't lead this project, then it's going to fall apart or it's going to impact my career negatively. There's this belief that if not us, then things cannot move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this so lovingly, you're not the only person who can do the thing.
Come on.
You're not the only person who can do the thing. And to get to that point requires a lot of unlearning, right? I'm a firstborn daughter, Nigerian immigrants,
Mm-hmm.
poster child of I have to do everything, I have to take care of everybody. And so when I work with people who share similar identities or take on similar roles despite their birth order, the main part of our work is dropping into the body and the sensation, like the sensations around it is okay that I am not the one to do it. And locating that in the body, right? The body tells us so much. And so I often work with people to just sense where those sensations are in the body and just sit with it. When we feel discomfort in our bodies, it's very easy to try to push past it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much information in those moments if we're allow ourselves to sit in there just a little while longer and hold space for the body to share its wisdom. So I think a huge thing that I would offer is when you feel those moments, when you feel like you need to take on more than your capacity can allow, one, ask yourself, am I the only one who has the ability to do this?
Right.
If the answer is no, ask. And I know that part feels tricky. I know I can already feel it in my throat as I'm like even saying it to you now. But we cannot overcome this rest deficit, if you will, if we don't vocalize where we need support. And we can only know what kind of support we need when we take a moment to check in with what our body's actually communicating to us.
Can I jump in, Barika? I'm so sorry, Dr. Go. Because I think what you said is life or death. I think some people will keep going when their bodies are telling them to stop. And then it gets into the realm of a physical illness. Dr. Claire, you just shared your story with us. And I'm so glad and I remember when you were going through some things and I was just praying and praying, and God would always have you on my heart. I'm just lifting you up. But we keep going at a deficit, but then it eventually becomes dangerous. We have to listen to the wisdom that you just said, Malika, that our body is trying to give us. It's so important. I just wanted to pause and say that, Dr. Claire. Back to you.
Yeah, no, listen, this is a couch conversation. It's all good. I everything that Malika said, I don't really have too much more to add. I'm just like, again, we're the tambourines. I believe though that this belief, I'm a systems thinker. I'm a social worker. I do not believe that who we are is inherently just individual. It's our internal core. We are shaped by our environment. We are operating within this system in our environments. And so when I think through some of the reasons of to why, it's also because we have the belief, as we were talking about before, rest is irresponsible. It's childish. It's rest when you're dead. Like all the things that people say that I'm just like, well, that's not resting. That's you're dead. Like that's not, or this is just how I am. It's always been this way. And let me be real. I've experienced it, and all of us do. If I set the boundaries, I'm going to get punished. I've navigated that. Absolutely. But to the point that you're making, I'm thinking about then the impact in terms of the allostatic load, right? Like that wear and tear on our bodies. All the research that tells us that Black women in particular more likely to go into perimenopause and menopause earlier, more likely to have adverse health outcomes for pregnancy, regardless of socioeconomic status, education, etc.
Wow.
You know, these are things that when we think about, more likely to experience certain forms of mental health dis-ease or longer times. And we also know that then the support is not as there for communities of diverse experience and lived realities.
Mm.
And so we're carrying this burden.
Mm.
Can't get the help because when we ask for help, we're told we're not strong enough.
Mm.
We don't have enough faith.
Mm.
I'm for the Christian community. If you are there, I just want to be very clear. The Bible says Jesus is wonderful counselor. So if Jesus is a counselor, why would you go to counseling?
Yeah.
That's the only question I have. But I think that when we think about all of these negative things that we tell ourselves, I would say the way you answer the second part of the question was, how do we shift that narrative?
Yeah.
So now we have to combat a feeling is not a fact. So now we need to combat that. The truth statement is my worth is not measured by my output. Rest is a right. It's not a reward. Humans need to rest. I cannot be excellent if I'm exhausted.
So
I'm going to tell you no. I remember in high school, I had a friend, Veronica. She walked me around. I will never forget. And I've told this story so many times. She walked me around the track and she literally made me practice saying no. And she was asking me like ridiculous questions. So like, you know, you're trying to get, you know, I'm a teenager, you're all these things. I'm an immigrant, all these things of trying to fit in. And she would say, she's like, no, say no. And I'm just like, well, she's like, she had me screaming no at the top of the lungs on the track outside, right? You need people in your life that are going to help you practice your no and your boundaries and reinforce those for you. Outside of abuse and violations of that nature, the only person that can violate your boundary is you.
That's so good.
But she gave you a training on the track, how to say no.
I said, we all need a Veronica.
20-something years later, I'm still like, yes.
Yes.
No. You just scream it. Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying, yes, that's so true. Thank you. I needed to hear that.
That's so good. It's so good. And so, you know, I'm soaking it in. My body feels so good right now. I don't know about y'all. I just feel like sense of relief. I feel joy. I feel just that good giddy feeling inside. I just feel so good being with my sisters and talking to you guys. So, you know, you talked about, and I wrote this down, Dr. Claire, too, that our significance is not attached to what we do. Our value is not attached to what we produce. But then, Malika, you talked about the story we tell ourselves about ourselves. Why? Let's go under the hood. Why is it that we're attaching our significance to our outputs and to what we produce and not to who we are?
Yeah.
So I believe, and there was a study by Robert Fogel. He, in 1974, he looked at how often people were working, slaves were working. And what he's seen was that it looked like there we go, we're back. What he's seen was that enslaved people, Black African Americans, they were working about 12 hours a day.
Wow.
So that's about 3,700 hours a year. The average person works 2,000 hours a year. So we have almost double the amount that a slave was working. And that was with no wages. That was also by being with no dignity, right? Being belittled and broke down, all the things, and dehumanized. So on top of all of that, the compounding factors that added to their inability to rest, right? It wasn't just physical labor, but then it was all these other things. So when you're thinking about that, I'm wondering, from your perspective, Malika and Dr. Claire, what was the effect of that? The overworking on our bodies mentally today, right? Again, attaching our significance and our value to what we produce. What was the effect of that? Do you see a correlation? What's the effect of that to us physically, mentally? And then what's the effect of that in our communities and to our children? Start with Dr. Claire.
Oh, I'm like, so the first thing I wanted to say is that we have been taught from the womb in many of our family structures and culture that love equals achievement. Many of the times that we get acknowledged in our families, within our communities, is when we do something. A perfect example would be LinkedIn, and we still do it.
Yeah.
When somebody posts, I got a new job, or I'm doing a talk, or you get all the engagement. You get congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Yeah. When you're sharing your heart or you're talking about the leadership issues or the challenges within spaces, engagement is low. So it's constantly reinforced that people want our performance rather than our reality. So we are taught to hide. And the challenges, and I'm not the author of these sentiments, but we are comparing and constantly told to compare our behind the scenes with someone highlight reel. People make assumptions. We make assumptions about people because of what we see, and we only celebrate what we think feels good. You see 0.05% of somebody's life on social media, in the public. You don't know what they're dealing with at home. You don't know what they're dealing with in their business or their career. Like, you may assume someone's doing great and they're not, because we don't take the time to ask and to pause. And so what that does is it silences us. And when we think about living in a space of silence and suppression, it also then silences those cues that Malika has been talking about and that you've been talking about, that we can tune into. How do you tune into it in a world of noise? We're listening for the still small voice in chaos. And the chaos is produced consistently to distract us. Produce. Let's be real. If you're not working, if you're not, you don't, where are you going to live? All these real basic human needs, those are real pressures. You don't have to go far. I haven't checked the stat in a few months, but as in the summer, we saw that under the current administration, over 300,000 Black women lost their jobs and counting, and more. These are not made up things that we are talking about that we're going through. And so we have to hold multiple realities at the same time. Our worth has been tied to our performance, our acceptance. But the first introduction to that is typically within our families of origin. And so how do we work to combat that when we know that women have higher incidences of autoimmune disorders, depression? Why? We know maternal depression is passed on genetically. We are passing these traumas on. We're passing these traits on because we are well. And we're literally being changed at an epigenetic level. So when you ask about what's the impact, epigenetic generational shifts and changes. We are dying out, survival of the fittest, and we are not surviving. We are just enduring. We are passing these dis-eases on, the dis-ease in our body, the dis-ease in our souls, the dis-ease in our relationships. For so long we have been told that wearing these dis-eases is a badge of honor and something connected to our strength. I want to say publicly, I'm not your superwoman.
Thank you.
No, I love
Thank you.
And more importantly, I love cartoons. I am a big cartoon head, but guess what? She is a fictional character. She's not real. Beyond the angry Black woman stereotype, we've carried the strong Black woman.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, there is strength in rest. Come on. There is no strength in overproducing and killing yourself and working yourself to the bone. And I'm telling myself this because I still daily have to combat those pressures. How am I going to do this? How am I going to make it? How am I going to it's real because it's butted up against the realities of needing to live and have safety and all of those things. But I'm not strong. I'm here for my sprinkle soft life.
That's right. Come on, Dr. Claire. Ooh, that was good.
Ooh, Dr. Claire, you landed the plane exactly where I wanted to take things off. I'm the thread around being pushed into silence and how it impacts our communities epigenetically. We carry the DNA of at least two of our grandmothers, our great grandmother, one, two, three, a couple generations up. So the traumas and hurt and pain and experiences that she navigated are part of the DNA that now makes up me. So I think about those of us across the diaspora impacted by colonialism, like that's another layer on top of that. I think, when we look at our families of origin and thinking about what parents do to protect their young people, their babies in the real world. And I had a scenario with my sister over the holiday break where I saw it happening in real time, and I said, this is how we pass this down out of fear.
Wow.
My sister was sharing a story, and all I could hear were the parts where she could experience pain, where she could get hurt, where now I would have to come be big sister and come save the day. And I completely missed what she was sharing with me in earnest. And as one would have it, I snapped, and the car ride from that point on was silent. And I knew that I had overstepped, but I felt righteous in the ways that I had reacted because, well, if I don't say something, you're going to go down this path and something's going to happen to you, then it's going to be my problem. And after, when we came home, I caught myself. I apologized. I said, you know what? I'm so sorry. You were just trying to have a sister-to-sister conversation. And I went into guardian mode. And upon reflecting, I realized I have such huge and expansive dreams for my own life, but out of fear for what the world might do to my sister, I projected my fear onto her. And I think that's what we do as parents, as guardians, as adults in young people's lives, is project and offload our fears of what the world will do. And I think to what you were mentioning, Dr. Claire, around our families of origin, how do we change the ways we show up for our young people? How do we change what it looks like to be loved and safe in the home and let that be a sanctuary, knowing that this is a sanctuary because of what they have to face in the outside world, rather than seeing the home as a place to prepare for the outside world?
Yeah.
I think there is another way of us being in those spaces.
That's such a pause moment right there. And I know we are like almost at time, but this is so good. And I got to talk about my daughter because she's such an ambitious, beautiful, half Asian girl, teenage girl. And she's a high honor student, and she's self-taught guitar and piano, singer and engineer and all the things, and started attaching her worth to what she produces. And I realized she was burning herself out as a teenager. How do you burn yourself out? And realized that the same thing I was doing, Malika and Dr. Claire and Brika, was passing it down to her. Was passing down my anxiety and passing down my restlessness and my attaching my value to what I produced. And when I realized that, I said, oh no, this is not, whoa, like, right? That didn't even realize it was happening. So sometimes we mean the best, right? For our kids, for our families, but we don't even realize that we're passing on these traumas, and we've got to stop. We've got to come to terms and realize and shift the narrative and reset. Brika, go ahead, go.
So let's tap in again to our peace and our center and where we have come from. Thank you so much, Dr. Claire, Malika. I want to close this out with thinking about if your ancestor were to tell you something today that they have been trying to get your attention to hear, what advice would they give you today? What would they say?
Mm. There is a message that only you can deliver to this world, and it is your task of the lifetime to bring it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think there's so many things are running through my mind with this question, but something Malika was saying earlier about, just we're passing this on and just these weights. And when this thought that came to me is we are guardians of our souls,
Mm.
and you're not alone.
Mm.
And so we think of that. Look at what we're doing here. Couch conversation, right? This could have been in pajamas. Think that our resistance and our joy has always been in our collective healing, has always been in our community. But we have gotten so far away from it. So I would say that they would say return.
Mm.
Mm.
And here, Shaniqua, what would your ancestors say?
Oh my goodness. I'm taking it all in. And Dr. Clear, when you said that, I felt that in the core of me. It was almost like a confirmation to my body, like that's exactly what it is. It's return, it's rest. It's laugh anyway. It's dance anyway. It's resist the narrative that they've been telling us. It's reset.
Mm.
My dad transitioned recently, and watching this snowstorm that we just had in the Northeast. I remember there was a big snowstorm back home in the Midwest where my dad was, and he was like 60 something, and he said he went to the neighborhood hill that every kid goes to every snowstorm to go down, and he went down this hill at 60 something. I said, Dad, why'd you do that? He says, because it's fun. And so I found myself during the storm looking at all the videos of New York City and how much joy there was in New York City because people were making igloos or the people's igloo. There were snow fights in Washington Square Park, and even the police were joining in the snow fight, drive down so people can, lob snowballs at them. There was a whole park. I think it was Prospect Park too. Snow village of snowman and snow women and snow cats and snow totoros and everything. And so even when we were like, oh man, snowstorm, oh my gosh, here we go, we got to dig ourselves, take a moment to go enjoy like the beauty. And so I think my ancestors would say, my dad would say, go have fun.
Oh, I love that.
Just relax a little bit. And he was a Panther daddy. My mom and my dad were both Panther parents. So they were like, work, get your homework done. Do not say no. Can't is not a word. But my dad would say, go have fun. You taking life too seriously. So yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm so full.
Joy.
I'm so full. I'm so full. We're 1 minute past time. I don't want to leave you ladies, but we got to go. And we need a part 2. And I do agree we need to put on pajamas. Wear pajamas next time, pajamas and talk. But I feel so full. And those of you that are watching, I hope you feel uplifted. I hope you got something out of this talk this evening. It is time to do better. We know better. We have to do better for ourselves, for our children, for our communities. We have to do better. It's time to rest. It's time to have joy. It's time to have fun, Barika. It's time to reset. It's time. So we're going to close this evening, but we want to thank every single one of you for watching and for tuning in this evening. Thank you so much for spending this hour with us. We thank you for your comments, your feedback, all the things. I'm going to ask one last question. That's how can people follow you, Dr. Clear and Malika? And after that, we're going to bid you an incredible good evening. Incredible, happy the rest of the 1 day or 2 day left of Black History Month. And then we will be back soon. So stay tuned and stay connected. How can people follow you, Dr. Claire Malika?
LinkedIn, Dr. Claire Greenford, or you can go to my website, drclairespeaks.com. I play on LinkedIn the most. But the one thing I will say is, while in this country, Black excellence recognition is February, I'm Black, Black is Black, 365 and 366 year. So we are excellent all day, every day. And so this is all the time. And so I thank you so much. And like I said, www.drclairespeaks.com, or you can go on my website. And thank you so much for putting it up.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I will definitely be reaching out, Dr. Claire. And you all can find me on LinkedIn, Malika Agukwe, and please do connect with me. I would love to be part of your journey of joy and expansion in whatever way feels resonant. And thank you both, Barika and Shaniqua, for having me today. I am really grateful to be in this space with you all.
I love it. Barika, how can they reach you?
You can find me on LinkedIn as well. I haven't played in social for many, many years since I left radio, but you can find me on LinkedIn. And hopefully we can continue the conversation there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And you can follow us at iRace.org and follow me at Shaniqua E. Moore. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, ladies, so much. We'll talk soon.